From Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, this is the World Skating League. Tonight's matchup pits the Florida Sundogs against the Nevada Hot Dice. Welcome, everyone, to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick, along with Lee Rehrman and skating legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. Two teams tonight in very different directions. The Nevada Hot Dice, full strength, buoyed by the sudden return of their coach off from suspension, Little Richard Brown. The Florida Sundogs skating without the services of Posse and Suzanne Chalene. Their immigration status up in the air. They are nowhere to be found. The Sundogs just now getting back David Gleddy and Gina Lombardo, but they both readily admit because they're shorthanded, they are skating, but neither skater, Lee Rehrman, anywhere near 100%.
Well, not only is neither skater near 100%, but these Florida Sundogs has done something very interesting. Behind the leadership of Captain America, because of the Posse and Suzanne Chalene situation, they have refused to add a male skater to their roster for Posse or a female skater for Suzanne as a showing of solidarity in the hope and keeping with that spirit of these Chalenes being back in the lineup very soon, Ken.
Well, it's a very generous idea, but perhaps they might be slitting their own throats skating shorthanded against the Nevada Hot Dice. The one thing in favor of the Sundogs, I don't think there's any Hot Dice woman that has the speed to stay with Debbie Rice. But anytime you have Florida and Nevada on the track, you've got to talk about Kane and Abel, Sam and Micah Martin.
Well, Sam and Micah Martin, of course, we know that Sam is called the Flame because of that flaming red hair. His brother Micah has that green hair. I don't know what the heck we were calling him Margarita one day. I tell you what, when these two get together, it's like some kind of a Christmas horror movie with all the red and green flying all over the place.
And Buddy Atkinson Jr., the Sundogs, great move keeping roster spots open, but with a lot of skaters injured, do you think it's a wrong move to make?
No, the only thing they're going to have to do is pace themselves tonight, make sure they don't run out of gas. But I think it's a terrific idea, and I think it'll also throw the other team off balance a little bit.
We will find out, and you see the flames. Here's the music. Let's welcome the Nevada Hot Dice.
Look for these Hot Dice to try to get out and make it a track meet, Ken. We know these Florida Sundogs have refused to add players to their roster, and we know Little Richard Brown is going to try to take full advantage of that, both with the men and the women. Here come these Florida Sundogs. Captain America, you saw him right there. They've refused to add a player to their roster. I'm not sure how Denise Loden and Captain America and the rest of these Sundogs are going to fare without that extra person. We all know there's only 7 on a squad. Well, these guys are going with only 6. Sam Martin, Gina Lombardo, and some of the rest are all going to be called upon to step up extra. And, of course, starting for the Sundogs today will be that Denise Loden, along with Lindsey Francis, Kathy Evangelo, Debbie Rice, perhaps a still injured Debbie Rice and Gina Lombardo. And for the Nevada Hot Dice, it's Kim Hart, Shay Brown, Mindy Smith, Mandy Osborne, and Katie Cooper again. Look for these Hot Dice to try to make it into a track meet, Ken.
And the Sundogs start off with Lindsey Francis and Debbie Rice jamming in the Nevada Hot Dice. Connor with Mandy Smith and the heartbreaker Kim Hart. Right now it's Kim Hart in the lead, but very quickly Lindsey Francis and Debbie Rice as down goes Smith. Now Kim Hart is having to duel both of the Sundogs, and Kim Hart goes down courtesy of Debbie Rice. Great opportunity. What a start so far for the Florida Sundogs, as Francis and Debbie Rice are the only jammers out. Smart move by the Hot Dice here. Jammers have decided to stay back and act as blockers now. Fine move by Gina Lombardo from behind. Great move by Denise Loden, and right very quickly. 4 big points for the Florida Sundogs. Great start for the Dogs.
And a big smile on the face of Gina Lombardo as she takes down Katie Cooper, number 38 of the Hot Dice. She got it done, Ken, and helped her team score points.
And now it's Laura Weintraub and Mandy Osborne jamming for the Hot Dice. And as they come around jamming for the Florida Sundogs, Gina Lombardo back after a mild concussion along with Debbie Rice. And now leading the way is Laura Weintraub out of San Paulo, California, 5'9", 135. And jamming along with her Her teammate, that's number 37 in white, Mandy Osborne out of Broomfield, Colorado, and it's Gina Lombardo back in action from Tampa, Florida, the North American Cream Corn Wrestling Champion. She's going to need all her tricks trying to catch up when she's got to battle two jammers on one, as Debbie Rice has been absolutely unable to get on track and now decides to stay back as a blocker. And right away you see Denise Loden sending one of the hot dice into the rail, allowing Gina Lombardo to go by it. Again, Denise Loden takes down two more Nevada hot dice. Certainly Denise Loden picking right up where she left off.
And Denise Loden won always to rise to a challenge, similar to what Mark D'Amato does for the New York Enforcer men. And Shea Brown goes right after her, Ken. These Nevada hot dice women are taking it right to the Florida Sundogs. The Sundogs are up 5-3. We'll be back right after this. Although we showcased Denise Loden of the Florida Sundogs that last jam, Ken, the Nevada hot dice picked up the points.
Talk about salvaging something out of nothing while Denise Loden was busy clearing house. The two hot dice jammers went by her and picked up 3 points, 5-3 Sundogs, as we are underway once again in this first period. Now, out first time today, this is Kathy Evangelo for the Sundogs, being pursued by number 34, Laura Weintraub. So we got a pair of 34s out jamming for each prospective team. Again, as they come around the curve, Hawk Laura Weintraub, certainly the bigger of the two.
Well, as a showgirl, we talk about the showgirl sizzle, but we forget to mention sometimes that these girls are pretty big here for the hot dice in the form of the showgirls.
Laura Weintraub, 5'9", 135. Now they're beginning to catch up to what was a fast-moving pack. And look at the hot dice led by the heartbreaker, Kim Hart. Pin the whole pack, the lift up against the track. 4 big points for the Nevada hot dice and Laura Weintraub.
And the Nevada hot dice have been looking for a lot from Laura Weintraub. She hadn't quite delivered all year, but look for her today to really step up and be able to provide some punch for her Nevada hot dice.
7-5 the hot dice. Florida Sundogs need to get on track, and seemingly whenever they do, they give the jammer element to the fastest girl in the WSL, Debbie Rice, and she takes a double whip led by Denise Loden, and Rice very quickly catches up in this jamming for the Nevada hot dice is Mindy Smith out of North Carolina, 5'4", 117. Oh, look at Debbie Rice. Sits right down on her. Looks like she may have pulled a groin. Very bad, either that or a hand. Debbie Rice definitely hurt herself on that move. Very upset. What a key injury this could be for the Florida Sundogs.
Yeah, she's holding her wrist, Ken. That could be very bad news. These Sundog women beaten and battered. They can't afford to lose Debbie Rice with a bad wrist.
Mindy Smith now closing on the pack, but laying in wait the quarterback of the Sundogs, Denise Loden. It's certainly nice to see Denise back skating with the women. Last game she was skating with the men. And a Texas Bulldog, oh, taking a page out of Mark D'Amato's book. Denise Loden, I don't know, this relationship with Sean Atkinson, we've never seen that out of Loden before.
Hey,
she's going to take a nice little trip to the penalty box, but 2 really bad developments for the Florida Sundogs, Ken. Debbie Rice looks like she might have injured herself. She's being attended to on the infield, and of course, Denise Loden going into the penalty box. These guys really better step up.
Certainly a tough jam for the Sundogs. Denise Loden, a 1-jam penalty, so they're skating short-handed, and the hot dice add 1 more to their score. It's 8-5 Nevada. Now breaking out this is Lindsey Francis for the Sundogs going against Shea Brown. 5'10", 150 out of North Carolina. Brown, no question, the bigger, the physical skater. And the Sundogs in dire straits, they were short-handed. Gina Lombardo far from full strength. Now it looks like the trainer's still working on the wrist of Debbie Rice, certainly hope that isn't broken. What a horrible break that would be. Now Laura Weintraub and the heartbreaker, Kim Hart, forming a double block. Francis trying to go by. So far having no legs. Now Francis, smart move, giving the elbow to Shea Brown to drop her back. Now it's Andrea Franklin coming back, trying to break the double block. She does exactly that, takes down both of the hot dice, allowing Lindsey Francis to go by and pick up 3 big points for the Sundogs.
But the big news right now for the Florida Sundogs, Ken, is that Debbie Rice may be much more injured than we thought earlier. They're taking her away, and it looks like her injury might be a lot worse.
The worst possible news for the Sundogs. They're already without Potsy and Suzanne Chalene, Gina Lombardo, nowhere near full strength now. Their best fastest skater, Debbie Rice, out with a possible broken wrist. What do? They turn to Denise Loden as she puts on the jamming helmet. We have said so many times, as Denise Loden goes, so go the Sundogs. It's all squarely on her shoulders, being pursued by Mindy Smith. We're all tied up at 8 apiece, but now let's see what Loden does with a double block. She goes right around it and cuts off the jam. You've got to think her strategy, they're now going to have to try and keep this low scoring.
Well, it might be low scoring, but right now let's go look at roller rules.
Roller Rules, brought to you by Dial 1-800-AT&T for collect calls.
I'm Sean Corbin, head official of the WSL. This game is fast and furious. If you blink, you might just miss something.
Now let's see if you can tell how many points are scored on this jam. So how many points did you see? Wrong. Martin passes Atkinson for 1. Then passes Santiago for a 2nd. Next, he passes Montgomery and Slopey to 2 more. Then, Tom Smith passes Montgomery and Atkinson for an additional 2. That's 6 points, Sundogs. That's the way I saw it, so that's the way it is. Now you know the rule.
Welcome back. It's a close one. In the immortal words of Charles Dickens, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times for the Sundogs. They are ahead, but Debbie Rice has broken her wrist in at least 2, if not 3 places. She is out indefinitely, maybe out for the season. What that means, the Florida Sundog women have no substitutions. They are going to have to Iron Man it out in period number 3. Hard for Florida. I don't think it can get any worse.
Well, for Florida, I don't know what Charles Dickens, if he ever had a Sundog uniform on, but Debbie Rice does. I don't care what he said. She said, ouch, right there, kid. These guys are down. They were down to begin with. Now it's going to get even uglier. And the starting lineup first for the Florida Sundogs, it'll be Mike Tanner, Sam Martin, Bill Barker, Tom Smith, and Sean Marshall. And for the Nevada Hot Dice, it's Vinny Mormondo, Micah Martin, Mark Weber, Randy Garrett, and the KG veteran, Richard Brown.
We can't help but keep our eye on number 39 for the White, Richard Brown, and certainly number 12 for the Sundogs, Bill Barker. The two going at it already at the back of the pack. They were traded for one another. But I'll tell you, the Sundogs, David Glennie out with a concussion. Posse and Suzanne Chalene are just gone. Debbie Rice, potential broken wrist, could be out for the year. What more could go wrong for the Florida Sundogs? That's right there. Micah Martin sends his brother Sam, the only other really good skater all the way through. The two brothers right in front of us now battling it out, wearing jamming helmets. Brown takes down Bill Barker, and there seems to be bodies strewn all over the track. As finally the referees call this jam off. We'll take a look at the scoring. 1 point for the Nevada Hot Dice. But I'll tell you, Hawk, things are going from bad to worse for the Dogs.
And although you like to have a little bit of romance involved in respecting what the Sundogs did, not to add people to their lineup, now that things are getting rough out here, you wonder if it was really a good decision.
10-9 Florida Sundogs clinging to a 1-point lead, but boy, things are going tough for the Dogs.
Well, and Richard Brown, the KG veteran, we say a lot about him in the bad sense, but there's one thing he knows, it's how to take advantage of the other team's weaknesses, and these Sundogs are a beaten team, and little Richard Brown has instructed his Hot Dice definitely to play physical.
Christian Salvia now out in the lead jammer, being pursued by Jonathan
there was the
Russell.
love machine, Ken.
And here comes P.J. Rossi closing in. Now Richard Brown and the Hot Dice tie up Bill Barker, 2 of the Sundogs. The strategy of the Hot Dice to play it very physical, and they put 4 more points on the board.
Well, in the frustration in the face of Bill Barker, he was the one who might have been behind this show of solidarity for the Chalese not wanting to put extra folks into the lineup. And little Richard Brown goes right after Bill Barker. We remember little Richard Brown was tossed out of here, out of the World Skating League for injuring J.R. Widener of the New York Enforcers. He's about to do the same to Bill Barker as he sits in the penalty box. The face of little Richard Brown says it all. These Nevada Hot Dice are taking the lead, Ken.
One jam penalty on little Richard Brown, but certainly his aggressiveness worked as suddenly 4 points of hot dice over the Sundogs, 13-10. You can see the face of concern on all the Sundog women. They are down to only 5. They've got no substitutes. They're going to have to gut this one out. It's going to be iron horse time for the Sundog women when they come back in the third period. And now flying into the railing is Mark Weber, courtesy of Sean Marshall of the Florida Sundogs. And certainly Florida, as short-handed as they are, can ill afford to let the dice build up too big a lead.
Well, why is Sean Marshall out there with a jammer helmet on? It's a key example of how short-handed the Sundogs are, Ken.
And there you see a big elbow from Mark Weber trying to regain some retribution. Weber gave up trying to jam and decided to stay back and block Marshall. Big knee so far. Marshall unable to get by Weber. Weber doing a phenomenal job. These two men. Now Marshall throws him away and passes him up. Pulls off the jam. Remember, Weber had not lapped the pack, so Weber picks up the one, rather Marshall picks up the 1 point.
And Sean Marshall, big number 14, he's one of those unsung heroes here for the Florida Sundogs. It really has to step up if the Florida Sundogs are going to have a chance.
13-11 Nevada hot dice. Richard Brown doing a great job. He leads the pack. He's the last line of defense before any Sundog jammer can get out. And now you see Mark Weber give the big whip to Micah Martin. It's the two brothers out jamming. This is Mike and Sam Martin. We have talked about it. Richard Brown tried to give Micah the whip. Sam Martin went right underneath to gain the lead. There is absolutely no love lost. Look at Sam Martin send Micah right into the infield. Micah skates halfway around, trying to take out his brother. Sailed right on through the track. Referee waves it on. Sam Martin with a golden opportunity. Richard Brown tries to set up. Just labels Sam Martin. Now Micah back up. A butt block from Micah, who came back on the track. 2 yellow points awarded to Sam Martin. Deliberately attempted to impede the jammer. Very smart call by Sean Corbin.
I'm not sure what Micah Martin said to Sam Martin right there at the end of that play, but this play was Martin mayhem as Micah Martin goes off the track almost into the stands. Sam Martin takes it at the hands of little Richard Brown, and then Micah Martin comes to add a little insult to injury. But we all know the story. Sam Martin of the Florida Sundogs used to be the student to little Richard Brown when he was a Sundog. Now Micah Martin is the student. Well, it's teacher and student are in the penalty box right now.
I'll take him down.
This is the best opportunity the Sundogs will have. Sean Corbin giving 1 jam penalties to both Micah Martin and Richard Brown. The Sundogs out to a 5-3 man advantage. 50 seconds in the jam, and very quickly Tom Smith breaks free. Now remember, if Smith can somehow lap the pack, he will get the points for the 2 hot dice sitting in the penalty box. But a smart move right now, they sent P.J. Rossi out. Rossi trying to cut it off, and he is allowed the lead jammer. 30 seconds had expired in the jam. According to the rules, the lead jammer after 30 seconds can cut it off. A very, very heads-up play by T.J. Rossi. He certainly knows the rule book. And we're underway once again. Under 35 seconds to go in the period. The Sundogs all even now, 5 apiece. And now springing free from the whip is Mark Weber. Once again, this is Micah Martin along with his brother. You saw what happened 2 jams ago. These brothers hate each other. Sam Martin labels his brother. Down now, Micah, down. Sam, the golden opportunity. We're down to 10 seconds in the jam. He's coming up on the pack. Richard Brown laying back to block. But Sam Martin uses his speed, goes right by Richard Brown. A big block by Bill Barker. He goes by 2 of the hot dice. Richard Brown goes up and over, and that's the end of the period. But Sam Martin picks up 2 points to break the tie. 15-13 Dogs. We're at halftime.
Well, we may be at halftime, Ken, but the feud continues between Sam and Micah Martin. Micah Martin and Sam Martin. Sean Corbin's had his hands full all day. And for the Florida Sundogs, they may be up by 2, but there's plenty of...
Again, the Florida Sundogs clinging to a very close lead over the Nevada Hot Dice, but what a day it's been for the Florida Sundogs. If it couldn't get any worse, losing Debbie Rice perhaps for the entire rest of the season with a broken wrist. And on the men's side, Sam Martin has to be thinking it's me against the world. Not only has he had to fight his brother, Micah Martin, which is Cain and Abel too, to say the least, but Lee Rehrman, his mentor, Richard Brown, for lack of a better term, has taken quite a few cheap shots at Sam.
Well, Ken, we have an interesting twist. We have two scenarios here. We have the teacher and the student, and then we have the inter-family rivalry with Sam and Micah Martin. Of course, everybody knows the story about little Richard Brown, formerly of the Sundogs. Sam Martin was his protege. Then he gets moved over to the Hot Dice, becomes the diabolical little Richard Brown, and then Micah Martin is his protege. Well, in the second period, this all played out for us today, Ken. If we can look at what was going on, the battle between little Richard Brown, the former, actually that's Micah and Sam Martin going at it. I talked about it being a Christmas horror movie with all the red and the green going around, and at the end, the helmets are off, the green hair, the red hair. It's a nightmare as far as Christmas. We got it all, Ken.
And for the Florida Sundogs on the women's side, I want to call on the expertise of Buddy Atkinson Jr. Buddy, the Florida Sundog women, they only have 5 skaters. They can have no substitutions in this third period. What does that do, if for nothing else, to the rotation they normally would use?
Well, I'll tell you what, they got to start banging, and I mean banging hard, slowing that other team down so they can pace their play and get in this game and stay in a situation where they're in control.
Buddy, let me ask you, specifically Denise Loden, obviously the quarterback of the Sundogs, can she play her normal, aggressive, physical, all-out game knowing she can take no rest?
No, I think she can. She's a fine athlete, well-conditioned, and I think she can do it. She's going to be tired, but she'll pull everything out to do it.
Well, there is absolutely no question the Florida Sundogs more than have their work cut out for them to try and maintain this close lead.
And they'll also be looking to another Sundog, Gina Lombardo.
Among the fair-haired Florida Sundogs, Gina Lombardo stands out from the pack. But Roller Jam fans used to seeing Lombardo take a whip might be surprised to see her use one.
See these tattoos?
It turns out there's more to this Florida jammer than first meets the eye.
Best thing I love is motorcycles, tattoos, and skating.
Lombardo feels most at home during Bike Week in Daytona Beach.
Are you guys ready for some corn wrestling? Say yeah!
Where she's the 3-time cream corn wrestling champion.
The championship!
Lombardo brings this toughness to the track.
Now this is tough.
Despite her small size, she's willing to take on any challenge and any competitor.
Now, one thing we are seeing from the Nevada Hot Dice this week that we haven't seen in the past is some very heads-up play, some smart execution. I think a lot of that, Buddy Atkinson Jr., is owed to the return and the coaching of little Richard Brown. But in that second period, there was almost a logjam of the entire pack, yet the Hot Dice came out of it and scored 4 points. If you would, Buddy, take us through that whole sequence of logjam and the scoring.
Believe it or not, Richard Brown's the one that sets his whole jam up right there. He has both of his men double team up on Barker, knocks him right down, smacking hard. Rossi does another nice set, pushes Russell right up into the hold group, and then shoots back down here with his other jammer. And now look, the bang right here. Big, super bang. And got a mush, and you got 4 points, and that's the way it's done.
And the interesting thing was those 4 points gave the Nevada Hot Dice a very brief lead, but the Florida Sundogs came back and were able to regain the lead and have kept it through the first 2 periods. But Lee Rehrman, the Sundog women have got their work cut out for them. They have no substitutions left. If anybody goes down, if they get hurt, it's just going to be very tough sailing for the Sundogs.
Well, absolutely. You talked about a leadership of little Richard Brown for the Nevada Hot Dice. Look for Denise Loden, her leadership, her performance, both blocking and jamming. And it was a few weeks ago that she had to put a jammer helmet on for the men. They're out of people. They're out of time. Denise Loden, look for her to step up, Ken.
Can the Florida Sundog women pull off the Iron Man period of the WSL? We will find out right after.
Nevada 13. This second half is really shaping up to be a doozy, Ken.
It is absolutely gut check time for the Sundog women. The scariest sight for them is their own bench because there are only men. There are no reserves for the Sundog women. Suzanne Chalene is gone. Debbie Rice is gone, possible broken wrist. Gina Lombardo at best is 75%. Right now, Lombardo leads the field, being pursued by Mandy Osborne. Coming up, Kathy Evangelo. And down goes Osborne. Gina Lombardo closing. This is Katie Cooper back to block. Cooper sends her into the boards. A nice job of blocking. Here comes Kathy Evangelo. For my book, Evangelo is going to be the Sundog that's going to have to pick up the space for Debbie Rice. And again, Shea Brown now does a great job. Finally, Kathy Evangelo is able to sneak by Shea Brown. Evangelo sends another of the hot dice into the rail. You've still got Lombardo coming up on Cooper. Cooper sends Lombardo into the rail. Evangelo trying to get by at the last second. Down goes Cooper, but prevents Evangelo from going by. A great job of blocking from Katie Cooper. 2 points for the Sundogs, 1 for the Nevada Hot Dice. We're underway again, and again it's Evangelo and Gina Lombardo trying to jam for the Dogs.
And I tell you what, kid, one of the things we forget about the showgirls, and I said it in the first period, is that these girls are very big. Kim Hart, number 33, about 130. Laura Weintraub, number 34, 135. And Katie Cooper at 155 pounds. It's tough for the Sundogs, who are playing injured with that kind of size for the hot dice.
Right now, Gina Lombardo doing a great job battling Laura Weintraub there, the only 2 jammers out. And down goes Gina Lombardo. We talked about she had been out, doesn't have the stamina. Far from 100%. Laura Weintraub with a golden opportunity to pull the dice back in this one. They traded by 3. Andrea Franklin turns around and calls up Laura Weintraub. And here comes Weintraub. Franklin calls her up. Oh, Franklin mistimed the block. Weintraub goes right around her. Picks up 1 quick point. Now she goes right around Kathy Evangelo. Closing in on Lindsey Francis, and Francis tries to go for the block. She misses as well, and 3 points for Laura Weintraub. Once again, we're all tied at 17.
And Laura Weintraub, one of the hot dice showgirls, we talked about needing to step up for the Nevada hot dice and really start to show that she can play, given that the Sundogs have a lack of manpower. Well, she did it here, kid. Not only did she score 3 points, but she really laid some physical punishment on Florida.
And again, you see the problems for the Florida Sundogs. It's Gina Lombardo and Kathy Evangelo still jamming. They have no substitutions. Out for the Nevada Hot Dice. Mandy Osborne wearing the jammer helmet, as is a heartbreaker, Kim Hart, but she runs smack dab into Denise Loden. No way she can get by. It's Osborne and Evangelo battling it out. Kim Hart, Andrea Franklin doing a good job of shadowing Hart, making sure there's only 1 jammer out. And it is Kathy Evangelo and Mandy Osborne. Evangelo 5'5", 120, doing a great job. She's got to be tired. She and Gina Lombardo have been out on every jam. Lombardo not even trying to get out. Great job by Kathy Evangelo. Sends Osborne into the rail. Now Evangelo closing. Back to block. This is Denise Loden. Sends Shea Brown right into the infield. Tremendous block by the quarterback. Denise Loden all over. Now she gets Kim Hart tied up, allowing Evangelo to go by her. Kathy Evangelo having a great job. Now she snakes by Katie Cooper. A tremendous jam by Kathy Evangelo, picking up 4 points for the Florida Sundogs.
And these kinds of plays from unsung heroes are going to be necessary if Florida has a chance. Kathy Evangelo picking up 4 points.
And now we've got 1 change. Jamming now along, instead of Kathy Evangelo getting her arrest, Andrea Franklin goes out with a jammer helmet. Denise Loden reaches back to give her a whip and does just that, but she's being followed immediately. And this looks like Kim Hart, the heartbreaker of the Nevada Hot Dice. It's Hart and Andrea Franklin battling it out. No other jammer is out, as the Sundogs just don't have any substitutes. They're doing Lou Gehrig, Iron Horse work. Hart battling it out with Franklin as we approach 30 seconds left in the jam. Kim Hart out of St. Albert, Canada, and Andrea Franklin out of Miami as they come around. Now dropping back, it's Lindsey Francis trying to call up Franklin. She's going to try and deal with Kim Hart. Francis, oh, what a bonehead play by Lindsey Francis. Tried to take out Kim Hart, took out her own teammate. Kim Hart goes by unimpeded, and now it's Hart trying to get by Denise Loden. With 5 seconds left, smart move by Hart, figuring I've got the points, and she cuts off the jam.
And Kim Hart, we haven't talked much about her all day today, kid. She finally does something good for her Nevada Hot Dice and cuts the lead in half, but she has really got to perform if these Nevada Hot Dice are going to catch up.
And now Lindsey Francis and Denise Loden don the jammer helmets. Lindsey Francis perhaps wanting a chance to atone for that disastrous play on the last jam.
And Denise Loden's got a jammer helmet on, Ken, and I'll tell you why. She was blocking for the whole first period, buy some time for her Sundog women teammates. Now there's a very short time left. She's going to try to score some points and give the men a lead.
Shea Brown out of Greensboro absolutely levels Lindsey Francis, who has really had a couple of jams going. Shea Brown and Denise Loden, the two most physical players of their respective teams. If Loden can catch up to Brown, there's plenty of time. 24 seconds left in the jam. It is 21-19 Sundogs. Always seems to be the case when the Dogs need to dig deep. They turn to Denise Loden. Lindsey Francis tried to block Shea Brown. Took her off balance enough, allowing Denise Loden to do the same. Down goes Andrea Franklin. Denise Loden winding her way through the pack on the inside, trying to get by the entire pack. Kim Hart now trying to block her out. Now Laura Weintraub, and finally she cuts off the jam. But three Florida Sundog desperately needed points as this period comes to an end.
And the Florida Sundogs pick up the points, but more importantly, Ken, they extend that lead as Denise Loden and Shea Brown got into it. We saw Shea Brown trying to tire out Denise Loden earlier in the day to no success. And these Florida Sundogs somehow are hanging on. They're up 24-19. We'll be back.
After three periods, Florida 24, the Nevada Hot Dice 19. We're back, everyone. Unbelievable job, with apologies to Andrea Franklin, Kathy Evangelo, the rest of the Sundogs. Denise Loden turned it up single-handed, increasing the lead. Buddy Atkinson, an incredible job by Denise Loden. Take us through just one of the brilliant plays she showed us.
I'll tell you what, she cuts and dices this team up something fierce. Terrific whip right here. Now she makes a move. It's a double side step. She's still running. She swoops to the outside, starts to run the outside, cuts back down in, and I'm telling you, this girl had energy going. Straight power strides, power stride, cuts back up, and it's beautiful.
Well, the Florida Sundog women stepped up. Let's see if the men can do the same, Ken.
No matter how this game turns out, every one of the Sundog women can be proud of themselves with no substitutions. What a great job coming out of that period with a 5-point lead. On the other hand, the Hot Dice women, Shea Brown ejected after receiving a one-jam unsportsman penalty. That's why the Dice are shorthanded. And what a job by Bill Barker, totally annihilating half the Hot Dice, just getting out of the jam. Now Barker coming up on Richard Brown. Remember, these two men were traded for one another. Both want to prove it was a smarter trade for their new respective teams. Brown tries to take Barker to the rail, has little or no effect. Now a knee almost to above the shoulders. That could have been a penalty. Richard Brown becoming certainly one of the dirtiest players. Now Marshall tries to take him down, and with a little help from his teammate Mike Tanner, a new addition. Down goes Richard Brown. 1 point for Bill Barker and the Florida Sundogs.
And little Richard Brown, he's not the only one here in the World Skating League that might be in shock right now. I think these Nevada Hot Dice thought they had a tremendous advantage before the game. Now that many of these Sundogs are injured late here in the game, I think everybody here in the World Skating League is shocked that the Florida Sundogs are still in it, Ken.
25-19 Sundogs. Richard Brown sneaks on the infield, dealing out with Marshall, and suddenly breaking free for the Nevada Hot Dice as they come around. This is 35, Christian Salvia. Hawk, I know you'll be keeping an eye for his patented move, and here comes Tom Smith coming up, and bringing up the rear of the jam is P.J. Rossi. The Hot Dice with three jammers out. Sam Martin. Oh, both of them go down. A golden opportunity now for Rossi. Look at the Hot Dice pinning all the Sundogs up against the rail, and now P.J. Rossi cuts it off. But we may have an injury. We'll have to check with the referee to see how many points he awarded or if he waved it off.
And things are getting tough all around for little Richard Brown, as you see the exasperation in his face. But what really hurt Christian Salvia right here is he made a move on the curved part of the track, where the bank and design of the track move you out in a strange direction. That's why he injured himself.
That is still one of the best rules in the World Skating League. At any time in an emergency situation, the referee can automatically call off the jam, exactly what Sean Corbett did. No points, no matter what. The safety of all the skaters is paramount here in the World Skating League. Under 4.5 minutes to go. 25-19 Sundogs, and down goes Sam Martin, courtesy of his brother Micah Martin. That's something we seldom see, along with Micah Martin. Little Richard Brown wearing a Jammer's helmet, but Richard Brown certainly doesn't have the speed to keep up with Micah Martin. You see Micah Martin already closing on Captain America, Bill Barker. Barker just nails him into the boards, and now here comes Richard Brown finally catching up. Martin almost snuck by Barker. Barker goes to take out Richard Brown, and that gives Micah Martin the opportunity to go by Barker to put a point on the board for the Dice as Micah Martin continues to weed through the entire pack of Florida Sundogs, and then smartly cutting off the jam, picking up all 5 possible points.
Little Richard Brown obviously pleased with this jam, unlike the last jam where we saw exasperation. But Micah Martin gets the best of the battle between the Martin brothers. You see him scoring some points. You see Sam trying to go over him, and Micah kind of sends him down.
Come on, guys,
and of course, a little personal pleasure he gets to take out Bill Barker, Captain America.
25-24 as we come up on 3 minutes remaining. This one's anybody's for the taking. But boy, I'll tell you, the Florida Sundogs, Hawk, the women are in a world of hurt.
Well, you saw Sam Martin there on that last jam, got a little too cute and cost his team some points by not following through. Let's see if he can redeem himself here, Ken.
And again, it's brother against brother, Sam and Micah Martin. Keep your eye on these two as they come around, because when they're at it, absolutely anything can happen. Sam goes down but gets to his feet very, very quickly. You know the adrenaline has got to be flowing anytime it's brother against brother.
And Micah Martin is winning the battle of the brothers so far, Ken.
Sam Martin now up and over the railing. A very astute call. Micah Martin won that one almost by default. Sam mistiming his block attempt. And now here comes Martin closing on the pack. This is P.J. Rossi, 34, back to block for the Hot Dice, and Micah Martin goes at it with Bill Barker, and Barker caught napping. Mark Webber absolutely upended him as 2 points for Micah Martin and the Nevada Hot Dice.
These last 2 jams have been the Micah Martin show. We saw him last jam score 5 points, I believe. Well, this one, with the help of a little Mark Webber, Road M Bones, adds another 2. The crowd loves it. With the Hot Dice up 26-25, we'll be back. Well, if you were a Florida Sundogs fan hoping the dreams come true, the Nevada Hot Dice just might have woke you up.
Certainly Mark Webber and the Hot Dice not lacking for confidence. 2 minutes remaining in this one, 26-25 Hot Dice. Every point extremely big right now. And now springing free, this is Tom Smith for the Sundogs, being pursued by Vinny Mormondo. We haven't called Mormondo's name much. He's pretty fresh. Tom Smith has been doing a great job and on the track almost the entire period. And there you see the more pressure Mormondo puts down Tom Smith.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken, you saw that attitude on behalf of Mark Webber. Little Richard Brown was gone for a while. A lot of big attitude with the Hot Dice. You wonder if there's room for all these guys here with Little Richard Brown back.
And now Richard Brown trying to help Mormondo. Back is Tom Smith, and now down goes Micah Martin. I didn't even see what happened. Richard Brown falls over him. And suddenly the referees call off the jam. We'll have to wait for the scoring here. 1 point given to the Nevada Hot Dice.
Vinny Mormondo, you see him right here as Richard Brown does some good blocking. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't spectacular. He just extended the lead.
Now remember, any jam, once it started in the final period, according to WSL rules, goes for the full 60 seconds unless called off by a jammer, so don't worry about the game clock. We've got 50 seconds to go. A 2-point lead for the Nevada Hot Dice. Little Richard Brown out jamming for the Dice along with Mark Webber, and they're just hammering away on Captain America, Bill Barker, but Barker is able to break free. Marshall sends down Webber. Here comes Captain America as we approach 30 seconds on the jam right now. 27-25. Barker has got to pick up 2 to send it into overtime. 3 to win it. We're down to 20 seconds. Little Richard Brown now back to block. What a classic confrontation. The 2 men that were traded for one another. The game is on the line right now. Here comes Captain America up on Richard Brown. Brown gives him the elbow. Barker is slow. He's able to go by Brown. That's a point. Remember, Richard Brown is a blocker. Bill Barker goes through 3 Hot Dice. Calls it off. They give him 4 points. The Sundogs win it, courtesy of Captain America, Bill Barker.
Killed him again.
Once again, the final score, the Florida Sundogs 29, the Nevada Hot Dice 27. Unbelievable job by the Sundogs. Lee Ramer and the Hot Dice have to be beside themselves. On paper, they had everything going their way. Then Debbie Rice gets hurt early on, out for the game. They've got to be saying to themselves, how did we lose this?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how they lost this, and I have to admit to our home viewers, before the game, about an hour before the game and pregame, I was telling you, with the 6 men, 6 women for the Sundogs, they don't have a shot in heck. But oh boy, did the John Elway of the women, Denise Loden, and the John Elway of the Sundog men, Bill Barker, Captain America, prove me wrong. They came to play.
Wait a minute, you're admitting you were wrong? Okay, folks, mark down the date, the time, circle this day on your calendar. You heard it here first. I never thought I'd hear those words.
If it was the New York Enforcers, I wouldn't admit I was wrong, because I'd never admit to Mark D'Amato and the boys that they were right. But I tell you what, Bill Barker, Captain America, is such a great kid. Denise Loden is such a great kid. The Barracuda couldn't happen to a better team. Good for the Sundogs.
Buddy Atkinson, as we wind down and we come in looking towards the playoffs, what is this going to do for the Florida Sundogs winning this game? You know, at some point they're going to have to replace the Shaleens on the roster. Gina Lombardo will be 100%. Glennie will be back. They've got to be this great opportunity to build on.
They're rolling very, very high, and also most of their practices have been very, very strong. This team is a team that you're going to have to watch, because they're never going to lay down. I really am impressed with this team as far as their teamwork and bring it all together.
And certainly, if there was going to be a Player of the Game award for this one, I think we could say unanimously go to Denise Loden. The final score, once again, Sundogs 29, Hot Dice 27. For Lee Rehrman, Broadway Danny Wolf, Buddy Atkinson Jr., I'm Ken Resnick saying so long. We'll see you again next time. Bye.